All righty, happy December. And we're gonna call the meeting to order at 7:04 of the Beaver Dam Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District Resident Advisory Board. Here in the building, we'll do a quick roll call of the board members. We have Fred Widman, Chris Dunn, self, Walter Blos, Colette Fallon, for her last meeting, Larry Weinberg, who is on his tablet and is waving. We have Kevin Boyle. And a face that you're gonna get familiar with soon, Jason Muniz. We'll get into all of that in just a minute. So welcome. All right, shall we start with the pledge?
Please.
Right. Flag is gone. Okay, that flag then, right there.
Oh.
Yep.
Sure.
Right. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The flag got taken down because the Christmas tree is up, but then we do have another flag, so we are covered. All right, welcome. As you log on, I am going to mute you if you're not already muted. Just to make sure that we don't have background noise. All righty. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Fred, second.
There.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So we have a short agenda tonight, our favorite kind of agenda. So let's jump right in. So we had an election last night. So thank you so much for all who came out to vote in that election. So there were 2 seats in New Windsor that will be opening up in January, and residents had the opportunity to file nominating petitions that were due on Friday, December 2nd to the Department of Public Works. The signatures on these petitions are reviewed and verified by independently by representatives of DPW in collaboration with Board of Elections. The DPW then reports to the board members the names of the candidates that will appear on the ballot. And this year, there was one individual who submitted petitions without any issues, and we'll get into that in a second. And it was Jason Muniz. And so the election was held yesterday, the 13th, from 3 to 8 p.m. in our community building. As a standard, 15 residents voted for Jason yesterday, and he will be starting his term January 1st. So welcome to our crazy crew. Jason, Larry Weinberg's waving his arms all around. So welcome, congratulations. We're excited to have you. Jason has participated in the Lake Health Committee in the past, and he's been part of several events. So he's a familiar face to us, and we're all really excited about it. Thank you, Marty Purdy and Tom Brody, for manning the polls yesterday. We really appreciate your time and efforts in that as well. Just kind of for general information, we are also aware that 2 other residents who collected signatures and mailed their petitions to the DPW to be listed on the ballot. One of our current appointed board members, Chris Dunn, was one of those folks, and the other is Diana Smith. The 2 individuals mailed their petitions together in 2 separate envelopes. The petitions were mailed and postmarked with what should have been a reasonable length of time that one would have expected them to arrive. The curious thing is that one set of petitions was received days late, and the other was never received and returned to the resident by the post office. So it seems like there was a mailing issue. So we will now have a vacant seat moving forward in 2023, in addition to the seat that Jason is filling. And although we cannot do so until the January meeting officially happens, I would expect that if Chris is open to being part of our crazy crew, we would appoint him to that vacant seat. And I would also like to thank Diana, who went through the trouble of getting petitions signed, and we look forward to all of us working collectively as a team to move forward to serve the community. So that's where we are with it. And that being said, the board is sorry to say goodbye to Colette Fallon, and we thank her very much for her 3 years of service here on the board. And we
Thank you,
hope
Colette.
we hope you stick around and still volunteer at events, and we're still gonna harass you via text message sometimes, because that's what we do.
Yeah,
So-
do a complete turnover of all your knowledge to Jason then as well.
And we're all gonna get fairy hair in recognition.
Yeah, we're all gonna get fairy hair recognition of Colette. Thank you. Including Lauren.
Put some in my view.
All right. So it's awesome when we have these elections and we can feel our board getting bigger and stronger, and we're all happy to be in the right direction going forward. So thank you to everybody who participated in the election. Thank you. Thanks to Diana.
Erica, on the topic of applications getting lost in the mail, it's a repeat occurrence that's gone on now for at least 3 years in a row. Where people mail things, then they get lost. So I'm currently revising the bylaws. I'll look at something we might be able to do as a corrective action to prevent reoccurrence going forward then.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was, I mean, I think it's probably safe at this point to say dropping them off is
That's probably gonna be the corrective action.
the better way to go.
I
So,
know Jason did drive his down.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so I was gonna ask you what post office you went to.
he's the postman. What are you talking about?
The day before. I don't think it's gonna be.
But it's frustrating, I'm sure, Chris, and
I have a good souvenir now, because like I'm hanging on to that envelope, it says return to sender, no such address, and
it's a lot of work to do what you did, and the
Yeah.
frustration is it doesn't get there, so we're empathetic with you.
thank you.
appreciate it.
Jason, would you like to give a quick intro and say who you are and where you live?
I am Jason. I live down shore. Look forward to serving.
Thanks so much. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. All right. Next item is community events. So thank you to those who attended the Beaver Dam tree lighting on Sunday. We had approximately 50 folks who came down. It might have been more than that, to enjoy some refreshments and to see Santa. Thank you to the Salisbury Mills Fire Department for bringing the big guy here, and yet again, and I hear that he's going to be driving around the community this weekend too, on the 18th, right? So if you didn't get a chance to take kids out to Santa on Sunday, you got another chance when the Salisbury Mills Fire Department does their rotation this coming weekend. We are also thrilled to host local police, some local political officials here, so we can create and maintain our relationships with those in the community. A huge thank you to those who brought non-perishable food and toys to donate to the Country Kids Food Pantry. The drive will continue through the 23rd. There's a red box right outside the community building door if you wanted to drop off non-perishable food or new unwrapped toys. And the building's under a great deal of surveillance, so it's safe to drop those things off, and the box is emptied every day. So thank you. It was a great event. It was so nice to see so many folks. The snow made it really nice. And really appreciate everybody who participated, and the kids had a great time. So thank you. Ice safety. So as once a year, we give the ice safety talk, right? So, okay. So this year's ice safety talk. So I'll be sending this up as a follow-up email, but wanted to remind folks of a couple things here as it gets colder. Ice thickness is not tested on Beaver Dam Lake. Areas of thinner ice are likely to be present. Caution is advised anytime you enter upon a frozen lake. Ice thickness is not uniform on any body of water and can vary day to day for a myriad of reasons, including air temperatures, water temperatures, sunlight, etc. Because of these variables, it's not feasible to determine the ice conditions in every part of the lake on every winter day. Therefore, residents are responsible for determining ice safety conditions for themselves and their accompanied guests. Please be safe and practice extreme caution this winter. Also note there's no gas-powered motors permitted in or on the lake, so no snowmobiles and no vehicles, please. If you see it, the board is not who you contact about it. You contact the local police department. The board is not a security force. Emailing us or Facebook messaging us or contacting us in any way will just delay the message to proper authorities, so we would encourage you to contact them in the first place. We are not a security force. So it is my sincere hope not to pull another quad, truck, or car out of the lake, and God forbid. We have done all three in the last 3 years, so, or, and I don't want to add a snowmobile to that list, so. I really don't want to see somebody get hurt. Please be responsible on the ice this year. And if at all possible, when deemed safe in our space, like we did a few times last year, we would look forward to hosting an ice skating event in a safe area. And we'll explore all that it takes to make it happen. When that happens, we will need volunteers to come and help us clear the ice. Although this year we did put an electric snow blower in the budget so that we could use that instead of shoveling the ice rink by hand again. But it will likely be something that gets put together on the fly just because of the nature of we can't plan if next month there's going to be ice on the lake or not. So stay tuned. If we can do it, we'll put it together. And we will open our little ice rink again, become safe. All right, does anybody have anything to add?
Just relative to the ice safety aspect of it, right now the lake is starting to freeze over. If this is a message for anybody who has a floatable dock on the lake, what happens with ice when it freezes, your dock will freeze into the surface of the ice itself, which is fine, but what ultimately happens is when the lake starts to thaw, it expands. If you don't have enough cushion between or space between the edge of your dock and the shoreline, it'll push your dock into the shoreline and will actually destroy your dock. So now is the time, if you haven't done so, pull at least 2 to 3 feet away from the shoreline. Will actually protect your dock. It'll save you a couple $1,000s. That's it.
Awesome. Anybody have anything else to add? No? Okay. All right. Sorry, safety speech. And again, there are some areas that last year, we had a pretty frozen lake last year, and there were some areas that were still liquid water just because of warm springs that come in. So just, please practice caution just because seems like it should be frozen all the way through.
Yeah,
It's not.
and also too, just thinking like, so if road salt has been put down a lot, that wash water that may come into the lake can actually thin the areas alone. So anywhere that that there's a discharge pipe, and if it's taking enough road salt, even though could be 15 degrees out, that could be poking holes and putting air bubbles in it. And even though it might have been thick enough yesterday, that could damage the ice, quality of the ice. So something to think about, hopefully in 2-3 months from now, but not 2 days from now.
It's ice trees along the coastline anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And the spring water will do the same. There's a section on the west side where natural spring flows into it. Last year, it never froze over at all.
Yeah,
Geese congregate there. So
Yeah, that led
Just
us
be
to
aware
try
it's
and
not-
figure out why that was, right? That was like the big
yeah,
question. Why did it
spring
freeze?
and fed on that side, but just be careful and always test the ice. Like Chris said, don't assume it's uniform throughout.
Keep an extension ladder nearby.
Awesome, thank you. And then on to the forum. Larry, you wanted to talk about the branch trimming?
Sure. Do you want me to touch base on any of the other things that I want, or just go into that and then wait until we get back into it?
Floor is yours.
Okay. All right, so one thing, if you've seen lately, the Central Hudson tree trimming crews are out and about through the community. So I received a letter in the mail. I'm sure most people have. So the reason I'm even mentioning this is if you see something, say something. So the crew has been out there and they're actually trimming what they call the primary lines, that is the street lines, in order to prevent a storm taking down a tree branch and knocking us out of power. And that's a fantastic thing. But there are many secondary lines that are not being paid attention to. I have a situation on my property with a shared pole where my neighbor's power comes off of the street onto a pole on my property, and it's definitely going to come down this year. There's a dead tree attached to it. So I've urged Central Hudson to come out and take care of it. It's a little bit of a battle back and forth, but the reason I'm mentioning it, if you see something on your property that is going to either impact your electrical and that's going to impact somebody else down the line on the grid, call up Central Hudson so that you can be put on the list for the tree trimming crew to come out and assess. Okay, that's just one thing that I really wanted to bring forward. I don't know if anybody on here might actually have a menorah to loan us for our holiday festivities as far as the Beaver Dam Lake Community Building. If anybody has a lit menorah, obviously not something with flames, and they're willing to allow us to use it. Maybe they have an extra, maybe they inherited one. I don't have one, otherwise I would have gladly bought it over. So, and budgetarily, we don't have money to go out and buy one. So if somebody wants to donate one temporarily for the season, awesome. Give it to us. That's awesome. Either way, I'll keep my eye out. If I come across one, I'll bring it over. But right now, we don't have it. Want everybody to feel the love this holiday. Okay. So we've formed a committee, an event committee. And while the holidays this year are rapidly approaching, and our event committee has been working on a few things here and there, we're kind of running out of time on certain things. So we have a very, very condensed schedule as far as the end of the year and events, including our food and toy drive, which we are very successful last year, and we want to have a great success this year as well. So the reason I'm even mentioning this right now, so at the building, we're amassing some nice donations, which is great. And this is going to local food pantries. So this could help people in your neighborhood that you don't know about. It's not going to be shipped off somewhere else. So how can you help with this? All right, look, not everybody's got the money to go out and buy extra stuff. Understandable. Not everybody can go out and buy toys and gifts. That's understandable. Search through your pantries. See if you find something, think, you know what? We're really not going to use this. And if you don't know whether it's donatable or within tolerance, just look up online. Really simple, quick Google search. How long, is the date on a can of soup? It's not going to become unusable a week after it's out of code or expired. They're still good items and within tolerance. So search through your pantries. If you don't want to go out, you don't have the funds, perhaps, to go out and buy extra stuff to donate to the community fundraiser. Sorry about that. The point is, everybody's got something kicking around, and if you're willing to be generous and donate it, it will help people in the community. So the committee and I, we've been getting together by way of Messenger. We have not met again since our initial get together, but the point is that we're putting together a flyer, and the flyer, as we can see on here right now, we have fairly low count for participant on today's call. We'd love to have 50, 75, 100 people on this call so we can get the word out there. So the main thrust of our flyer that we're going to put together is for new residents or people who have only been in Beaver Dam Lake 5 years or less. We're going to get a flyer out to them into their mailbox, a welcoming flyer. It's going to have all the information on how to get to the Beaver Dam website, how to sign up on Facebook, sign up for emails, and other tasty tidbits of information. So this is in progress. We had a great volunteer who's making us up an awesome flyer. Once it's done, I'm going to get board approval. And then Chrissy Wilger has agreed that she would mail these out for us and print them, which is a fantastic thank you to her. We really do appreciate that. And the last thing real quick, no updates on the Cornwall Social Club. I did call the town planning board and they are not on the agenda again. Still, repeat of the same usual thing. The Cornwall Social Club is tied up currently due to lack of ability to get sewer capacity. So that's all I have for you guys. We really appreciate you being on, and thank you so much. Again, we're going to have that fundraiser and the toy drive going with food drive until the 23rd. So bring your items down if you can. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Alrighty. And then I know that Fred, you had a resident mention to you, and we've also had some residents mention to us the need to revitalize our boat launch.
Yes.
So we do have budgeted for next year some materials to revamp the boat launch, which we talked about potentially creating a paved surface over by the boat launch or additional rock.
They
So
questioned me again to know if this is going to be for a professional application or is it just material to be followed by volunteer distribution? I told them we don't think it's going that far yet.
So we have, there's 2 lines in the budget. and one line deals with materials and the other line deals with DPW services that it's like an hourly rate that we can pay to DPW, and then we also have the option of paying our landscaper an hourly rate to do miscellaneous tasks. So we do have some options for which one we would want to go with. But there is plans to have that revitalized. We know it's been an issue this past year. We heard it from a few different folks. So stay tuned. That will not be a winter job. That will be a spring job, and we will get there.
Who has the lead on that?
I usually harass Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin has
Yeah,
the
well.
lead on that. You and Wally, collaborative effort. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other board comments? That's all I've got right now for this month.
I just wanted to, Carrie Loga, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's one of our local Cornwall, she's a senior and she just took nationals. She had the 8th best score since it began. She did under 17 minutes. She was at Worlds, she was in 5th in one and 15th in the other,
Oh,
What
cross
is it?
country.
in cross country.
Yeah.
So, we have a very talented young lady who's going to Colorado,
Yay.
so,
Her sister was also very good, correct?
no, she's only one.
Okay.
She's a Beaver Dam resident.
Yeah. She's Cornwall, isn't it? She was on Jackson. Is that Beaver Dam? Person? No, sorry. Sorry, but she's Cornwall.
Well, congratulations to her. It's
See you in the
exciting.
Olympics one day.
New York was.
Yeah, yeah. New York. Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, Colette, for all the time that you've spent. We appreciate it. I know that you're sad. This is your last meeting.
Yeah, love you guys.
You're devastated.
Yeah, you can still show up,
It's a tree.
raid the fridge.
Anything,
Nothing much.
board members?
Just the C-slot thing.
Just the C-slap thing? Okay, we'll get that rolling. Okay.
Anything from residents, nothing?
Anything from residents? Pop it in the chat box. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments?
A lot of holiday parties happening.
A lot of holiday stuff
People
happening.
are, yeah.
A lot of holiday
Around
stuff.
the big-
happening.
Question for Larry. Would they want first aid stuff or diaper cream?
Larry, first aid stuff, diaper, cream, personal items for the food.
Absolutely, yes. I already have some diapers underneath the table. And any kind of personal care item is fantastic. It's gonna go to the Country Kids Food Pantry. And those items are very expensive for them to have to purchase from either the food bank or an outside source. So Jason, extremely welcome to have any of those items, just pop them in on the table. And if for some reason, you know, your business or the company wants you know, some kind of a deduction write-off or something, that could potentially be worked out if that was necessary. So yes, it is a highly desirable commodity.
And for those of you that don't know, the Country Kids Food Pantry does do a backpack program for the students of Washingtonville, so that over the weekend and over these long holidays, the kids go home with something. So it's a good program, good cause. Any other questions, comments? I'm not seeing anything in the chat box tonight. Jason?
The boat launch. Will it be asphalt or concrete? My concern with asphalt is cracking because it's on a hill and then sedimentation of the asphalt going into the lake.
Well, what's really exciting is that you're gonna be on the board and you're gonna get
You're
to
gonna
help
throw
make
Jason
that
volunteer.
decision. Yeah, you're gonna get to help make all of these choices.
Make it see.
Yeah,
Item
first-
4 should be fine.
yeah, the first step is actually gonna be, look at it from a design perspective and say, what are the options? What's the best
Yeah.
option? It's not jumping into anything until you look at the options. Good
Oh,
question.
sounds good.
There's also crushed concrete. We can use.
Is that what we've got over there now? Or we just gravel?
We should.
Okay, all right. So we were gonna we're gonna collaborate and figure out the best environmentally responsible and practical solution for the boat launch problem.
Correct.
Okay.
Wally, if you could just shoot me a contact, maybe I could call for New Windsor to see about this abandoned boat pickup thing. I've kind of stalled out and I haven't been able to find the right person. And did put in a number of hours of taking photos, IDing them, sending the numbers to Fred. I don't want this one to do a Wally's die on the vine. All right.
Thank you.
Understand. I will get you a contact for New Windsor well, it's gonna be New Windsor and Cornwall for trash pickup, and we also could work with Orange County on that, but I'll work with you.
Yeah, I think Orange County deferred it to the towns.
They did. They said because we actually paid for trash pickup anyway, to allow them the first option to deal with it.
Okay,
Yeah, I talked to the DPW and they said it wasn't their deal.
They're correct, that's correct.
all right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Aye.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for a great December.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.